Everyone, my name is Anish Kumar and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to discuss about fundamental rights. So we all know about the term fundamental rights. Like at some point of time in our lives, we must have come across this term fundamental rights. So today in this video, we're gonna know what the fundamental rights are, what the list of rights that we actually possess, and what happens when a certain person isn't getting those rights and how he can actually get justice if he's actually facing this injustice. So the contents, the topics which we're going to discuss about in this video, like firstly we'll start with what are fundamental rights, and then we'll know what our fundamental rights are, like the list of the rights, and then we'll actually clear out this major confusion between fundamental rights and our fundamental duties. So firstly, what are fundamental rights? So fundamental rights are the basic human rights enshrined in the Constitution of India, which are guaranteed to all citizens. So these rights are actually available to all the citizens in our country. Like a certain country has certain number of fundamental rights, and each and every citizen in that country actually gets those rights, irrespective of his race, caste, or any other aspect. Everyone actually gets these rights equally. If anyone isn't actually getting these rights, or the basic rights or these basic fundamental rights have been taken away from them, at any point of time he can just approach the law court and he can ask for justice and it will be served if he's right. So they are applied without discrimination on the basis of race, religion, gender, etc. As I told. Significantly, fundamental rights are enforceable by the courts subject to certain conditions. So why are they called fundamental rights? These rights are called fundamental rights because of two reasons. They are enshrined in the Constitution, which guarantees them. Like these rights are guaranteed. It's not like if a person is born with a certain disability, then he won't be having that right. No, it's not possible in this case. Every person, irrespective of all the aspects which we've discussed earlier, he gets these rights. So they are justiciable, enforceable by courts. In case of a violation, a person can approach a court of law, like we've seen in many other movies, like many movies obviously, where there's actually a person who has to go through all this, where his basic fundamental rights have been taken away from him, and then he actually goes to a lawyer, and that lawyer turns out to be the main character of the movie, and he does very well. So our fundamental rights, there are totally 6 fundamental rights, like we all know about them, but what are these rights actually? We'll know about them now. Yeah, so as I told earlier, there are 6 fundamental rights of Indian Constitution, along with the constitutional articles related to them are mentioned below. Like every fundamental right is related to a certain article. So firstly, right to equality, Article 14 to Article 18. So right to equality, what does this mean? It means that before the Constitution or before the law, all the citizens of this country are equal. That's how it should be. But that's not the case. Yeah, we all know that's not the case, but yeah, according to the Constitution, that is the case. Like before the law, everyone is equal. Right to freedom, Article 19 to Article 22. Right against exploitation, Article 23 to Article 24 covers this. Right to freedom of religion, Article 25 to 28. Cultural and educational rights, Article 29 to 30. And lastly, we have right to constitutional remedies, Article 32. Firstly, we'll start with right to equality. Right to equality is one of the most important fundamental rights of Indian Constitution that guarantees equal rights for everyone, irrespective of religion, gender, caste, race, or place of birth. So we've actually come across lots of such situations where people actually have to go through this phase where, because of some inequality that they have, either color or caste, they have to go through a lot. Like recently, I was in my BMTC bus, like I was traveling to my college, and I saw that the North Indian people were actually getting harassed by the bus conductor because he was not a native of Karnataka, and the bus conductor was forcing him to speak in Kannada. That person can't be doing anything. He just knows Hindi. That's not his fault. But yeah, that's injustice basically. If a certain person doesn't know to speak a certain language, how do you expect him to actually speak that language? Like, okay, out of my mind. Okay, fine. I'll just state the topic. It ensures equal employment opportunities in the government and ensures against discrimination by the state in matters of employment on the basis of caste, religion, etc. This right also includes the abolition of titles as well as untouchability. Untouchability is actually a concern. It has been a concern from many years in our country, and many prominent figures have actually worked on this. They have tried their level best to actually overcome this. So untouchability basically can be seen in villages mostly, and at a certain places in cities as well. So a person who's of a lower caste is not actually allowed to touch someone who's of a higher class or a higher caste. So we all have this system of classes, right? Like, okay, caste system basically. That's what I'm talking about. If a person is of the lowest class or the lowest caste, then is not allowed to actually touch or speak freely to the person of the highest caste. We have actually seen many such movies like this also. So that's what we should be overcoming. Equality before the law. Article 14 treats all the people the same in the eyes of the law, as I told earlier. This article is described in two parts, which states and commands the state not to deny to any person equality before the law. Another part of it also commands the state not to deny the equal protection of the laws. This provision states that all citizens will be treated equally before the law and avoids any kind of discrimination. The law of the country protects everybody equally. Under the same circumstances, the law will treat people in the same manner. Prohibition of discrimination. This article prohibits discrimination in any manner. This article secures the citizens from every sort of discrimination by the state on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, or of them. No citizen shall, on grounds only of race, religion, caste, place of birth, sex, or any of them, be subjected to any liability, disability, restriction, or condition with respect to access to public places, use of tanks, wells, ghats, etc., that are maintained by the state or that are meant for the general public. So earlier there used to be cases like, imagine a certain well. Okay, well is a place from where you fetch the water, like, yeah, in villages. So if a person who's of the lower caste actually fetches water from that well, then that well was believed to be impure because the lower caste person actually took water from it, and people believe that his touch actually made the water impure, and the lower caste people got exploited because of it. They were not allowed to fetch water from the wells, and they were exploited a lot because of that. So the government currently is working to overcome that completely, and they're working there. I mean, they're trying their level best to overcome it. The article also mentions that special provisions can be made for women, children, and the backward classes, notwithstanding this article. Equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. Article 16 provides equal employment opportunities in state service for all citizens. No citizen shall be discriminated against in matters of public employment or appointment on the grounds of race, religion, caste, sex, place of birth, descent, or residence. Exceptions to this can be made for providing special provisions for the backward classes. Um, okay. Abolition of untouchability, Article 17. Article 17 prohibits the practice of untouchability. Untouchability is abolished in all forms. Any disability arising out of untouchability is made an offense. Like whatever I told earlier, like people actually considered that the higher class people considered that the people from the lower caste are considered to be impure. So that's what it is trying to abolish. Abolition of titles. Article 18 abolishes titles. The state shall not confer any titles except those which are academic or military titles. The article also prohibits citizens of India from accepting any titles from a foreign language or as foreign state. The article abolishes the titles that were awarded by the British Empire, such as Rai Bahadur, Khan Bahadur, etc. Awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, Bharat Ratna, and military honors like Ashoka Chakra, Param Veer Chakra do not belong to this category. Are fundamental rights and fundamental duties different? Fundamental rights are the rights available to the people of this country, while fundamental duties are the obligations on part of the citizens. Basically, fundamental rights, like what I have, what I can be doing. I can't be going and killing someone. Like, that's not my right. I can't be doing that. It's completely against the law. Like, I have a certain set of rights that I actually need to have. Like, they are the basic rights. If I don't get that right or those set of rights, I can actually go to a court and I can complain about it, and they'll do the further proceedings. And fundamental duties. These are the things that I should be doing. Like these are the basic things that I should be doing as a citizen of this country. Like that is the basic difference. Fundamental duties were added to the Indian Constitution by the 42nd Constitution Amendment Act 1976 by Indira Gandhi government. Fundamental rights and duties are two important concepts of Indian Constitution, while fundamental rights are the entitlements that individuals possess by virtue of being citizens of a particular country. Fundamental duties are responsibilities that the citizens have towards their country and fellow citizens. So, yeah, right to freedom. Like, I'll just brief out all the fundamental rights here. Right to freedom. What is right to freedom? Any person is not actually considered to be a slave. You can't keep a person as a slave in our country. Like, that is actually legal in a few other countries, but not in our country. It completely abolishes slaves. Right against exploitation. If a certain individual is going through exploitation of any kind, either mental or physical, he can actually ask for it. He or she can actually go to the court, and they can actually tell before the court that they are being exploited and they need justice, and the court will actually listen to them. Right to freedom of religion. So in our country, a person is free to follow any religion. Like whatever religion he wants, he can just follow it. And if a person or a group of individuals is actually stopping them from doing so, then it's gonna be a serial offense, like a very, very serious offense. So cultural and educational rights. So as we all know, a right to education exists. So a certain child, like a child is actually made to study, like he has the basic right to study. Education should be made free, like it has been free in many other states, like almost all the states now, because of government schools. So government is working on this a lot, that the education can be free and all the children in this country can get basic education. Cultural rights. Any individual can follow any culture, like he can follow his own culture, or if he likes any other culture, he can just implement it in his own. So the Indian Constitution actually provides him to do this. Right to constitutional remedies. So if a person actually doesn't get whatever is written in the constitution, like a certain group of fundamental rights, like if he's not getting it, he can actually just go to the court. That's what this basically means. He can approach the court whenever he wants, and no one can stop him from doing so. If someone stops him, then even that's going to be a crime. So this is all about our fundamental rights and how we can actually use them, and we should be aware of our fundamental rights and also our fundamental duties. But I'm not actually discussing about the fundamental duties. So yeah, this is all about it. Hope you all liked it and gained a certain amount of knowledge with this. I'll be back with another video shortly, so stay tuned. Thank you.